what's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I'm going to show you guys my August TBR. So, my August TBR is really big this month. I have a total of 33 books that I'm going to be trying to read this month. So I'm going to say this now, I've already picked my August random TBR because I had to pick it early so that I could build my TBR and figure out the best way to go through 33 books in this month. So I'm sorry you don't get to see me draw it, but you'll, I think, be pretty happy with which one it was, because essentially it's actually a repeat from a book that I wanted to read last month, which was really fun and really awesome, considering that I still did really want to read it in July, even though I didn't get to it. So I'm pretty happy with the result. But without further ado, let me get into the books that I'm going to be reading. So to give you guys my total pages I'm going to hopefully be reading this month, 32 out of the 33 books I'm going to be reading are either going to be ebooks or physical books. With all of those pages combined from all the ebooks and the physical books, I will have to read a total of 10,752 pages this month. Holy crap. And the audiobook obviously is going to be listened to throughout the month, so that's not really that big of a deal. But in order to get through all of those pages in 31 days, I have to read a total of approximately 347 pages every day. And that's pretty feasible, honestly. That's actually pretty feasible for me, even on a weekday. Most times I would probably try to read like 200 pages or maybe 300 pages, but 347 is still pretty feasible, especially since I feel like right now where I'm at work, things are kind of slow to where I can spend a little bit more time reading during the day than I normally would. And my weekends usually anyway are filled with reading, so I feel like it's pretty feasible to get through that many pages each day to get to my goal. So to start, I'm going to talk about 4 different kinds of sets of books that I'm going to be reading. First is my TBR for the NEWTS readathon. So I am partaking in the NEWTS. I am doing the writer/journalist career within the NEWTS, and I have 5 books in total that I have to actually read for the NEWTS, which isn't too bad. I feel like most people have way more than that, and I kind of got the lucky side of things where I don't have that many that I need to do, but also probably because I picked one of the easier careers, which I didn't intend to. I just saw that it was a writer/journalist one, and I was really interested in it because that's actually kind of what I want to do with my life. So the first NEWTS that you have to acquire are your Defense Against the Dark Arts NEWTS. You have to receive an A level within them, and that's kind of like the base level. And for that, you have to pick a book that has black under the cover or under the dust jacket. And for that, I have picked Shout by Lori Halse Anderson. This is a true nonfiction story told in free verse about Lori Halse Anderson's experience with sexual assault and rape and feeling not good enough, and essentially dealing with some very dark and heavy things as she was growing up within her teenage years specifically. This Under the Dust jacket is black. It is very beautiful. I love black covers so much, and I thought it was perfect because I received this for Easter from my mom, and I've been wanting to read it for a long time because I loved Lori Halse Anderson's book Speak when I read it my freshman year of high school, and I thought this is a very timely time to really read it because there's a lot of talk now still about things like the Me Too movement, and this is something that I really have been wanting just to read for a long time. And so far, as of today, on August 1st, I have read over 120 pages. I'm on page 129 now, and I definitely can finish this. It's a very quick read since it's told in free verse, so I should be able to finish this today and get to part of my goal for the first day of August. My next challenge for the NEWTS is my History of Magic NEWTS. So I have to receive an E level. So my A level challenge is to read a fantasy novel. For this, I am picking The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. And this is one that I've actually been hearing a lot about. I really loved seeing all of the traction that it had gotten, and I also received an arc for the second novel in the series, The Dragon Republic. So before I got to that arc, I wanted to actually read The Poppy War, and later this month I will hopefully be reading the Dragon Republic if things go according to plan. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. For my E level for History of Magic, I have to pick a book that includes a map, and for that I picked The Demon King by Cinda Williams-Chima. This is the first book in the Seven Realms series, and it does have a map in the very beginning of the book. It takes over 2 pages, so I'm really excited. I don't really know much about this, but I've heard that Cinda Williams-Chima is a really good author, and I do hope that If I like this enough, I will want to continue with the series because in September I have some plans for how I'm going to get through a bunch of series that I have started. The next book that I have to complete for a NEWTS challenge is for my Muggle Studies challenge. I have to reach an A level for Muggle Studies, and this is to have a book with a photo element in it. And for this, I am going to be reading my arc of the book Summerlings, which is a kind of non-fiction story, I think. It has something to do with World War II, I believe, and a family. I just don't know if it's necessarily non-fiction or if it's kind of more literary fiction. And then finally, the group book that I have for the NEWTS, which everyone is reading regardless of your career that you've picked, is Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castiel. I just actually had this ordered from another library to my public library, so hopefully I should be getting it very soon. And I'm kind of excited because I've never heard of this series before, and apparently it's a full-fledged series, so I don't know, we'll see if I like it. Now we're gonna move on to my arcs that I plan on reading this month. The first one is going to be In the Shadow of Spindrift House. This is a very short, this is like a short story basically. It's supposed to be very atmospheric, very horror-filled kind of thing. I don't know much about any of these arcs really. The next arc I plan on reading is Wherever She Goes by Kelly Armstrong. The next book, though, that I do know about is Beau and Bet, which is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. As soon as I saw this on NetGalley, I had to get it because Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite Disney stories, and I really love the idea of someone trying to reimagine it, so I'm very excited to see where this one goes. The next book I plan on reading is An American Duchess, which is kind of like a similar story to the whole Meghan Markle thing that happened with the royal family, where there's a woman who is whisked off to somewhere in England by a duke, and she's being told to marry him and all this stuff, and it's supposed to be kind of a romantic story. So I hope I like it, but thankfully this is a month where if I don't like any of my arcs, I do have the ability to DNF them, because in July I was not able to with the Book Junkie trials, so hopefully if I don't like it, I can just DNF it and move on to something different. The next book that I plan on reading is Aftershock by Marco Kloos, I believe. This is a young adult science fiction story, and it's pretty short considering that it's a science fiction story, so I'm kind of interested to see what it is because I know nothing about it and it's very short. So I hope that it's actually going to be kind of good and hopefully not super super sciencey to where I don't understand what's going on. The next book I plan on reading is David Mogul God Hunter. The next book I plan on reading is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I have been so excited to read this. This was one of my most anticipated reads for 2019, and I have been hearing nothing but good things about it, so I'm so excited, and I really hope I like it. The next book I plan on reading is The Gamer's Guide to Getting the Girl, which I think is just gonna be one of those really kind of cute, maybe dislike to love stories, probably not, probably more of like, you know, friends to lovers kind of thing, but which I still love, but I'm kind of in the mood for a cute little contemporary, so I'm excited. The next book is The Dragon Republic, which is the sequel to The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Like I said earlier, because I have the arc for this book, I did want to read The Poppy War before it, so thankfully I was able to get both of those books within the TBR for this month. The next book that I am planning on reading is Valerie. The next book that I kind of might know a little bit about is A Double Life, which I think is supposed to be like, not a biography, but kind of like a biography of some woman's life. And I think she's either Ukrainian or Russian, I think. The next book is Petra's Ghost, which I think is like supernatural, maybe urban fantasy, I'm not sure. Then I have The Art of Taxidermy, The Last Post, and Color Me In, which I believe is some kind of a contemporary that deals with, I believe, racial injustice. That's all I can remember off the top of my head for that one. Now I'm going to move into my reread series, which I'm going to hopefully be catching myself up on this month. And in this month, I do plan on, at this point in the month, wherever I am, I'm going to be stopping with the weekly vlogs and moving into doing a reading diary specifically for the Morganville Vampire series, as I'm going to be catching myself back up with it. And I like this idea because it kind of breaks up the monotony of doing a weekly vlog every week and having it more kind of focused on something as opposed to kind of just being random like most of my weekly vlogs are. So this month I'm planning on reading 5 of the stories from the Morganville Vampire series. The first one being Dead Girls Dance, followed by Midnight Alley, Feast of Fools, Lord of Misrule, and Carpe Corpus. These 3 volumes here contain the first 6 stories. I have already read the first one, which was Glass Houses. Dead Girls Dances in Volume 1. Volume 2 contains Midnight Alley and Feast of Fools, and Volume 3 contains Lord of Misrule and Carpe Corpus. I'm so excited because I'm slowly getting closer to the beginning of one of my favorite characters' storylines, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm so happy that I'm going to be doing a big reading diary for all of this reread to this point. So I'm so excited. Next, I'm going to get into the random TBRs I'm going to be delving into and hopefully catching myself up with as well, because I've been dropping the ball on that one as well. So here are all of the random TBRs that I have missed. One is missing from this stack because I do have it as an ebook copy. The first one was for March, which is Smoke in the Sun by Renee Ahdieh. Then my April TBR pick was Jacoby by William Ritter. Then I have A List of Cages by Robin Rowe, which was my May pick. My June pick was Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and then my July pick was The Birth of Venus by Sarah Durant. Dunant, not Durant. And now, drum roll please for the August TBR pick. It is Monstrous Volume 1 by Marjorie Liu. So this was, and Sana Takeda, I almost forgot the artist's name, I think. So this was one that I had originally picked for something to do, I think, with the Biannual Bibliothon in my July TBR, and unfortunately I didn't get to it. And as I was building this TBR for August, I drew for another book for the random TBR, and this ended up being the one that was being picked. So I'm actually really excited because, like I said, I wanted to read this last month and I didn't get the chance to, and it's a really short read since it's a graphic novel, so I'm really excited. I really hope I like it because I also have the second volume, and I would really like to like it enough to continue with the series, considering I believe that there is also the 3rd volume out, and I think Volume 4 is being worked on at the moment. And the 32nd and final physical or ebook that I'm going to be working on is gonna complete my Song of Ice and Fire reading series that I've kind of unintentionally been doing but have really gotten involved with, and that is A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin. So this is the last book to date of the Song of Ice and Fire series, and I really want to finish it because I've really grown to love the series a lot, and especially with how A Feast for Crows kind of let me down in some ways in July. I really hope that this one is going to really exceed my expectations, and then essentially within the next couple months I'm going to be reading other works within the series. I'll be reading Fire and Blood, and I believe one other collection of short stories that George R.R. Martin has written for the series, kind of getting me to the point where I would be super ready for the next 2 books. If those books come out, I really, really hope those books do come out before Martin passes away, because him's getting kind of on the old side. So this is my last physical book I'm going to be hopefully reading this month, and if I keep on track, I should be able to do it, and I'm so excited. I should be able to finish this at the end of the month. Oh, I really want to do it. I really want to do it this month. I'm so much more determined than I think I've ever been. And I feel like I say that in every TBR video, but I mean it this time. I really, 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 really want to get through all these books. And last but not least, I have my audiobook for the month that I'm going to hopefully be listening throughout the majority of the month. And I decided to pick something a little lighter because I feel like a lot of my audiobooks and a lot of the books I have this month are going to be very dense and very death and gore filled. So I decided to pick The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, which I didn't even know that my library that I use Overdrive with even had it, but I'm so excited. This is an office romance with hate to love, and I'm so excited because it sounds like it's gonna be so great. And I've heard so many good things about Sally Thorne's writing and how people have really loved the romance stories she's written. So I really hope I like it. And like I said, since it's kind of light and fluffy, it'll get me through my workday with no problems, and it'll be kind of a nice break from some of the more heavier books that I think I'll be reading this month in terms of content. And since I'll be reading a lot of fantasy, I think it'll be a nice kind of change of pace throughout most of the day. But it is only 11 hours, so it's possible I'll finish it within a few days, especially if I listen to it at work. So I might not have it for very long, but we shall see. Anyway, that is it. Those are all of the books I hope to read in August. Majority of them are books that I'm basically catching up on, with the other books being specifically for the NEWTS. So my plan basically is within the first week, I get through pretty much all of my NEWTS books, and then spend the rest of the month with my ARCs, my rereads, my random TBRs, and then finishing off the month with A Dance with Dragons. I still think it's really possible, considering that I have an average of 347 pages that I have to read every day, and it really just depends, I think, on how distracted I get, because it always comes down to the fact that when I'm home, I'm a little more distracted than I would be while I'm at work, which is kind of backwards if you ask me, but that's how it usually is, because I get distracted by something that Robert wants to watch on TV, or I get distracted by something that I realize I forgot to do, so that's kind of my life. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. Let me know what you guys are planning on doing in August, if you're doing the NEWTS or a different readathon, or what exactly your reading plans are. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be, hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!